As the film and TV industry grows along a generation that aims to be more diverse and equal, the question of how Black female protagonists are represented in these medias is ever important. After being the first Black woman to ever win an Emmy for the Best Leading Actress in a Drama, Viola Davis opened her speech with these words.
In my mind, I see a line. And over that line, I see green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white women with their arms stretched out to me over that line. But I can't seem to get there no how. I can't seem to get over that line. That was Harriet Tubman in the 1800s. And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity.
Opportunity? But for what? Better roles, better writers, better stories? In a generation that strives to be more diverse, is there opportunity for Black women in the film and TV industry to play leading, dramatic roles? Well, to answer the question, we need to look at a film theorist, Bell Hooks. In 1992, Bell Hooks coined the term oppositional gaze as a response to Black representation on film. Oppositional gaze is the rebellion for a Black person's right to look and identify with power positions such as whiteness and masculinity. A Black person's right to a gaze in films was repressed by the exclusion of representatives of the Black community, which means that the other's experiences was not depicted through the cinema lens.
I think it sucks that if Black people want Academy Awards, we can't just make movies about anything but slavery.
No. We can make any movie we want. We just have to trick white people into thinking the movie is about slavery.
The oppositional gaze is an all-white cast or blackface or little representation, and we see many examples of this across the history of television and film. Hooks gives the example of the Black child told off for looking too hard at adults because it is seen as a gesture of resistance to the adult's power over one's gaze. She defers that there is power in looking. By representing Black women in film, not as a reaction to existing in white-dominated narratives, but simply as a recognition of critical Black female spectatorship, the oppositional gaze creates a space for new transgressive possibilities for the formulation of identity. To take this one step further, think of any popular films or series with leading Black women. You probably thought of The Help, Girls Trip, The Hate You Give, Chewing Gum, That's So Raven, Empire. Now, in relation to Bell Hooks' theory, it can be said that a lot of these shows and films rely on how a white patriarchal society perceives Black women. Simply put, the stereotypes sell. These few are just part of the countless examples of Black women in leading roles that are either the Mammy, the Jezebel, or the Sapphire, i.e., 3 representational stereotypes of Black womanhood in Western media culture. The Mammy, synonymous with the trademark Aunt Jemima, created an alluring symbolic link between Blackness and servitude. Mammies appeared in film as overweight, subservient, happy-to-please servants.
But now, I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should
Dump his sorry butt.
Whoa!
Do it, now. He's probably still out there. I'll go get him.
Whoa, Ivy, wait! I don't mean right now. I've never broken up with somebody before, and I'm kind of nervous about it.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
Well, I don't know.
It's easy. Look, just pretend I'm Derek and break up with me. If it helps, I'll put a stupid look on my face and breathe through my mouth.
The Jezebel, born out of chattel slavery, was also reproduced in film. Jezebels characterized black women as sexually depraved, immoral, and lascivious.
Well, the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their names. You don't think of them as human. You don't think of them at all. You keep your mind on the money, keeping your eyes on the wall.
In contrast, the Sapphire was born on television. While the Sapphire first appeared on the Amos and Andy radio show, the Stereotype was reborn when it transitioned to television in 1951. Sapphires are angry, emasculating, and loud black women who are constantly obnoxious and rude in public.
God damn it, Norman, how many times I got to tell you when you drive my car, don't adjust my seat?
I haven't touched your seat.
Then why is it up so damn far?
It looks like it's back as far as it goes, Miss Fuchsia.
No, you moved it, I can tell, because look, when I inhale, my titty make the horn honk, listen. You see that? That ain't right.
I hear it.
That's scientifically proved that you was adjusting my seat.
That's not science.
It is, and just let it go.
It's not science.
I said let it go.
I'm just
I
taking
thought it was science.
Whilst these tropes can be seen as extremely entertaining, they only depict black women in a singular and somewhat demeaning light, and do not give them the opportunity of being real, multifaceted characters. And yet, there is one particular example that I feel acknowledges these stereotypes and breaks them down one by one.
Good morning. I don't know what terrible things you've done in your life up to this point, but clearly your comma's out of balance to get assigned to my class. I'm Professor Annalise Keating, and this is Criminal Law 100, or as I prefer to call it, How to Get Away with Murder.
Peter Nowalk and Shonda Rhimes created one of the greatest black female protagonists in TV history, Annalise Keating. At the beginning of How to Get Away with Murder, Annalise Keating has a respected legal practice operating out of her home after retiring from a big law firm where she was an accomplished defense attorney. She spends a chunk of her time teaching at an Ivy League law school where she picks a handful of law students each year to work with her on real-life cases. Annalise has a beautiful house and a doting, handsome husband, Sam Keating. The perfect life. But all is not what it seems. Her life slowly begins to unravel publicly when her students murder her husband. Throughout the series, Annalise Keating's initial mask cracks. We learn that Annalise is a survivor of childhood abuse and poverty. She has suffered miscarriages and lost children, experienced marital issues and family drama.
You're no failure. You're not trash. You're not cold. You're not a bitch. You're not ugly. You're not disgusting. You're not a slut. You're not dirty, you're not spoiled, you're not a monster! You deserve to be loved and touched and felt! You deserve to be free! I want out! I want out! Forgive yourself, Annalise! Forgive yourself, Annalise! Cause I forgive you! 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 I forgive you!
Annalise Keating is completely different from anything anyone's ever given me, Davis said in 2015. When someone is described as sexual and mysterious and complicated and messy, you don't think of me. I thought it was a really great opportunity to do something different. And that's not surprising. A white woman who is complicated, sexual, messy, and brilliant is easy to picture on television. but Viola Davis used it as an opportunity to change the way we see Black women, so that we could really see Black women. Annalise Keating is not only a refreshing pivot from shallow stereotypical roles, she also represents a critical move that's closely connected to the ongoing struggle for Black women to have their whole selves seen in everyday life. To conclude this essay of how to get away with making Black female protagonists, the answer is very simple. Whereas bell hooks believed it was the consumer's right to criticize the media they were watching, I believe it's down to the writers, the filmmakers, the directors, and the producers to create stories for Black women and give them the opportunity to tell them from their perspective. To do this, the oppositional gaze is indeed needed to creatively portray the Black experience that isn't inflicted by the white male gaze. Once that becomes ingrained in the way that the media commissions new work, then we could see an influx of Black female protagonists in complex, distinctive, and heartfelt roles. The biggest starting point is allowing for a space to tell and receive Black stories. Someone who advocated for this space was James Baldwin.
And in the moment you are born, since you don't know any better, every stick and stone and every face is white, and since you have not yet seen a mirror, you suppose that you are too. It comes as a great shock around the age of 5 or 6 or 7 to discover that the flag to which you have pledged allegiance, along with everybody else, has not pledged allegiance to you. It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you. It comes as a great shock to discover that the country, which is your birthplace, and to which you owe your life and your identity, has not in its whole system of reality evolved any place for you. The disaffection, the demoralization, and the gap between one person and another, only on the basis of the color of their skins, begins there.
Closing this gap that Baldwin talks about, in my opinion, can only be done by creating a new and unique space that wasn't there to begin with, and forcibly placing Black female protagonists in the limelight that they were initially refused of. This limelight isn't one that mocks, limits, or reduces Black women to tropes, but is one that illuminates every part of their being, finally letting them to be seen as people.